Hola, hola, ¿cómo están? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Simonette Hubert and today I have a very important video for you. Now, I know that you are preparing for your CSEC Spanish examinations, and again, buena suerte, good luck, and I'm proud of you for the job that you are doing so far. So, I know you have some questions, and today I have some amazing students here, and they're going to be asking their questions, and I'm sure some of their questions are your questions. So let's get into it. What is your first question?
Senorita, what is the time frame for the oral presentation?
Okay, great question. So for the oral examination, which is the first examination coming up, and if you check my channel, you can see the dates for all the exams. So I already posted that video. Now for the oral examination, you have 15 minutes in the examination room. And you would have seen the paper 15 minutes before. So for example, if you're the first person for the day for the exam, you will receive the oral situations and the reading passage. So for 15 minutes outside of the examination room. And then 15 minutes inside. So if you total both of them, then it's 30 minutes. The only thing that you won't see beforehand is the conversational questions. And for the last 2 years, we didn't have the oral situations, but prepare for them just in case they come this year. All right, so that's question number 1. What's your next question?
Senorita, you said there will be 16 questions for the oral exam. So what are the questions or what should we expect?
Okay, great question. Well, guess what? You have been preparing for this for a long time. So the questions, the conversational questions, are coming from 4 of the 6 general areas. So home and family, which you have been learning about all this time, daily routine, shopping, school and career, sports and recreation, and travel. So again, that's home and family, daily routine, shopping, school and career, sports and recreation, and travel. So for each topic, you'll get 4 questions from each. So 4 out of the 6. So that's how you get a total of 16 questions. And it's a conversation. So yes, that's where it's coming from. You have been preparing for this, so keep going. What is your question?
Okay, Senorita, talking about the teachers, so would the invigilator be a teacher from my school?
Buena pregunta. Good question. Well, the examiner would not be a teacher from your school, but the beautiful thing is it's a teacher from another school. So you don't need to be afraid. And I can tell you from my experience, and I think I can speak on behalf of all the examiners, we don't want you to fail. All you have to do on the day is show and do what you have been practicing all this time. So don't be nervous. The examiner is a teacher from another school. Just like how I will go to another school, a teacher from another school will come to your school. Next question.
If you made a simple mistake while doing your oral presentation, will you be penalized?
Great question. And as I always say here, as it relates to growth mindset, mistakes are a part of learning. And in the exam, if you make a mistake and you self-correct, then you will not be penalized. But with everything, you want to ensure you do your best. So I always say to my students, be confident. There are things like your name. If they say, ¿Cómo te llamas? You know your name. Me llamo Simonette. But I know that sometimes with nervousness, you might say, me. Then you can correct yourself. But once you self-correct, you would not be penalized. But you want to minimize it as much as possible. All right, next question.
Senorita, what if you're nervous and the nervousness is being heard in your voice?
Well, if you are nervous, that means your nervous system is working, so that's one. But it's natural for you to be nervous. It's an exam. This helps to determine your grade. But I also want to remind you from today, or whichever day you're going to watch the video, bear in mind, as I said before, the exam, as a teacher from another school, you have been preparing for this. So your class teacher has been preparing you for this exam, and you are not the only person who has ever done this. You're not going to be the only person who is going to do it. And while it's natural to be nervous, I don't want you to fret to the point where you don't remember what you have been studying. Just remember that you are prepared, you have been preparing, and it's guided. So the persons are not going to ask you questions. Just pick up some questions and ask you. Remember that you have a syllabus, so these questions are coming from information that you already know that would have been done in the syllabus. All right? But it's natural for you to be nervous. Just shake it out. I'd suggest shake it out the day before and smile. Think about it. These examiners, they are amazing, so don't worry yourself. What's your next question?
Okay, my next question would be, do you have any overall tips for the oral examination?
All right, awesome. So the Spanish Jamaican Foundation sent out, each year they send out these papers with some tips. So I'm going to share some of them. I'm going to share them based on, and this is the paper I'm looking at. So for the oral examination, as I said before, the exam will be done in 3 parts. So we know that we have situations, we have a reading passage, and we have a conversation. If you didn't know that, you do know now. So for the situations, you have part A and part B. So you want to be simple and specific in your responses, but ensure that you answer the part of the question what was asked, and examine both parts, because the situations, even though it's 5 situations, you're gonna have part A and part B. Now, as I always say to my students, it's very important. It's called a situation for a reason. You're gonna put yourself in that situation. So if it says you're a teacher, then you pretend to be Senator Hibbert and put yourself in the situation as if you're the teacher speaking. If it says you're the teacher speaking to some students, if it says you're the mother speaking to your child, then you take on the role of the mother. If you're the child speaking to your mother, then take on the role of the child. So a situation is just that. You put yourself, it says you're at the airport, then you don't think about at home, you move and you go to the airport. So you're at school, you pretend that you're at school. So put yourself in the situation and use a wide range of vocabulary. You have it, you've been preparing. But one thing I want to say also as it relates to situations, think about things that you already know how to say correctly in the situation. Now for the reading, as I said earlier to your question, you would have seen the reading passage and the situations 15 minutes before. So while you're outside of the examination room, you're not allowed to write, but you can look at the situations and say, oh, this is the answer I want to put. So you can do that. For the reading passage, you look at some words that you say, okay, this word might be a little bit difficult for me, so you want to break it down. You also want to look at how you're going to group your words. For example, if it says a red bag, you can't say bolsa roja. You have to put those together. Bolsa roja. So those are some of the things you want to take into consideration when you're reading. You also want to know if it's a question, you make it sound like a question and all of that, those great things. So you want to read at a comfortable pace. And the reading should take around 1 minute. And if you make a mistake, as you asked earlier, and correct yourself, guess what? You will not be penalized. Remember that the H in Spanish is silent. So the pronunciation rules, they're going to put words in there to see how well you know the pronunciation rule. Because remember that this is still a test to see where you're at. Remember also, and here on my channel, you can check the pronunciation videos. I have videos on pronunciation, part 1 and part 2. So just check out the CSEC playlist. Also, for the conversation, which is the part that I see you looking a little bit nervous about with the examiner, because that's the only part you would not see beforehand. But as I said before, they are coming from the 4 of the 6 topics. And you're going to respond to each question. It's a conversation. And again, if you make a mistake and self-correct, you will be fine. Never respond to a question with C or no, just like that. Because usually, even if you say no, there's an explanation. If you say C, there's also an explanation. So use complete sentences as much as possible, and also use your synonyms. All right. So there are some other tips here. I'm just going to look at a few of them. It says to attempt all questions asked. Please. It's better to try the question than leave it blank. Because as an examiner, if you say nothing to me, I have nothing to mark. But maybe you are thinking, oh, I'm not sure. Try. Do not leave any question blank. And this is not just for Spanish. This is for all of your subjects. Do not leave anything blank. Be clear in your responses. Ensure that you use the correct tense. If it asks you about something in the present, use the present tense. If it was in the past, there's no way you can be using the present tense. Also the future tense if something is going to happen in the future. So you want to make sure you use the correct tense and also subject verb agreement. So that is important. You want to ensure that if you're talking about yo, you can't be using the endings for we or for they. So that is very important. So think about it. And this sounds like a lot when I'm saying it like this, but this has been what you have. This is what you have been doing all this time. And remember, a long answer is not necessarily correct in every case. So you don't. There are times when you have to expound, but there are some basic questions. ¿Cómo te llamas? You say your name. You don't have to say, oh, my number is Simonette Hibbert, and my mother gave me my name because she liked the name. You understand what I'm saying? There's some that requires an explanation, but there are some that you don't have to spend so much time responding. But never yes, no, see, no. All right, and remember you're gonna get a mixture of easy and difficult questions. And right here it says it. Remember that the examiner is just a teacher from another school. There is no need to be intimidated. And I know you might be saying, that's easier said than done. But I want you to remember that this is a teacher from another school. And the examiners, as examiners, our aim is not for you to fail. We just want to see what you know. And finally, I want to say, and it's right here, practice, practice, practice. Speaking Spanish whenever you can and as much as possible leading up to the exam, and as always. So practice, practice, practice. Speaking Spanish to yourself, to your friends, to your classmates, in the mirror, every opportunity you get. And I'm going to add a final one. Of course, subscribe to my channel. I'm teaching Spanish over here. And check out the CSEC playlist. You have tips, you have sample oral examination that we have done, so you can see what the entire exam looks like. You can see paper 2, you can see also paper 1. So there's something here on the channel for you. Check out the playlist, and if you say, okay, I want to go back to grade 7, there's a playlist here for grade 7, one for grade 8, one for grade 9. So check it out. But thank you guys. Do you have any other questions for me? No?
Thank you.
Okay.
Gracias.
Okay, I was just about to say let's practice speaking Spanish. So I should say preguntas and you say no and you say gracias. Okay. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. I'm so proud of you guys. Tengan ustedes un buen día. Keep practicing. You at home. Don't give up. You got this. And remember that the only person that can stop you is
You.
La única persona que puede detenerte eres tú. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what else you'd want to see on this channel. Adios.
Adios.